ay pwede tayo mag-experiment pa. Tapos, maybe on the 4th week, dun tayo mag-quiz, gano'n. Tapos review-review na lang tayo. Tapos finals. Ano po. Ay, may presentation pa pala kayo nung nung journal article. Or article review pala, journal na article pa. Ayun. So far, okay naman kayo. Kamusta naman kayo? Kaya pa naman yung mga ginagawa ngayong summer. Konti lang naman, ethics lang naman, di ba? Pati Rizal, tapos ako. And kilala niyo naman ako, hindi naman ako super OA magpagawa. Ayun, so I hope all of you are doing well. And kung nakain po kayo ng breakfast ninyo, as of the moment, go lang. And kung nagpe-prepare kayo, carry lang din, makinig na lang kayo. Kung may tanungin man ako, tas alam niyo yung sagot, go lang. Or kung gusto niyo sumagot. Ayun po. So, ready na? Ready na kayo? Okay. Ayan. So, for this morning, nahiya talaga ako. Hindi ko kasi alam. Nag-iisip kasi ako ng parang pampagising. Diba? Kasi nung last, yung kahapon, diba, nag-discuss tayo about HIV, diba? Nag-news tayo. Ngayon kasi, mga pag-uusapan natin, kung kahapon, nag-usap tayo ng mga iba't ibang sakit. Speaking of sakit, ayan, again, please take care of your body. Yan ay iisa lamang. Tulad po ni Engineer Ferry, di ba? O nagkatrangkaso. So magba-vitamins, at least vitamin C. At mag-exercise, kakain ng ayos. Kaya nire-remind kayo kung nakain kayo ng breakfast, go. Kung hindi kayo nakain ng breakfast, kumain kayo kahit konti. And speaking of that, yung sunod po kasi nating topics is all about biomolecules. Yung building blocks na mga essential nutrients natin sa katawan, or of it makes up us. Po. So are you familiar with that class? Yung mga biomolecules natin. Narinig niyo na naman yun. So it encompasses carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and our nucleic acid, or the building blocks of our DNA. And kung kahapon nag-aral tayo ng mga sakit-sakit, ngayon, pag-aaralan naman natin class, or i-review natin sa mga sarili natin kung ano yung mga dapat, na, let's say, essential nutrients, dapat na kinakain natin, as a human, po. And para may pampagising, hindi ko alam, nag-isip kasi ako ng pampagising, nanonood kasi ako sa YouTube, tapos parang sabi ko, manonood na lang kami ng like, parang, short introduction, ng mga biomolecules. Pero dahil naman nagsiset tayo ng example, talaga, pero walang maisip na pampagising. Gusto niyo ba makita yung kasi di ba nag-gym ako, di ba? Like yung recent progress ko ng pag-gym. Hindi to para to brag or what, pero para lang din to set an example, po, sa atin, na despite of busy schedule, especially sa part ko, na nagtatrabaho ako, nag-masters ako, tapos dapat may work-life balance. So may social life ako, na nalabas-labas ako pag weekends, ganyan. And I make sure to keep myself active, and eat properly. Totally naman din yung pag-uusapan natin ngayon. So para may pampagising ng kaunti. Ay, nakakahiya. Ayun. So let's see. Lang to? Kailan ba to? Nitong June lang. Naiya ako, tangina. Pero para lang, again, to set an example, po, not to brag or what. Pero ito yung recent kong diba? Parang diba di? Isa pa. Ito naman nung kailan ba to? Tuesday.
It's Vito, baby. Skin from the gods, hair down the back, a little waist, thick thighs, some pretty brown eyes. I'm with some super fine shit, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ayun lang, share ko lang. So again, not to brag or what, pero ayun, as someone or as your professor, who is also setting an example sa inyo. And total related naman sa ating pinag-uusapan, I encourage ang bawat isa to have a healthy lifestyle despite of our busy schedule. Kasi pag nagising ba kayo? Nakakaya, nakakadiri, parang di ba din? Anyway, ayun, kasi isa lang yung katawan natin. Pag bumigay yan, ay mahirap. So, to prime, para magkaroon tayo ng konting background sa pag-uusapan natin, edi manood din tayo ng konting introduction about biomolecules. Wait lang. Pero proud ako doon. Diyos ko, pinaghirapan ko yung bali ilang years. Wala pa naman, hindi. May 1 year na din akong nag-gym. 1 year and 1 year and half year. Kasi mag-half, ngayong June. Share ko lang. Magsi 6 months na ako ngayong June.
Get in your fresh confidence era with Colgate Fresh Confidence. I want you to think for a moment about your favorite food. What is it? We all have different food preferences, but food is a source of large molecules that are needed for life, called biomolecules, also known as macromolecules, carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. In different types of food, you might find higher amounts of these biomolecules. For example, peanut butter can be high in both proteins and lipids. And while we'll mention examples of foods that contain different biomolecules in this video, this is not a video on nutrition. This is a video on the classes of biomolecules and their importance to the structure and function of cells, and therefore also to the entire organism, because organisms consist of these cells. Before we get into details about the 4 biomolecules, we need to talk about one very important vocabulary word, the word monomer. A monomer is a building block. If I had some large substance, the parts that make up that substance are called monomers. With each biomolecule class, we will mention its monomer if it applies. We'll start with the biomolecule class of carbohydrates. Generally, food sources such as bread, pasta, fruit, and vegetables tend to be high in carbohydrates. The monomer of a carbohydrate, remember that means the building block, is the monosaccharide. One example of a monosaccharide is the sugar glucose. Glucose is a pretty big deal considering it's used in cellular respiration to make ATP, an energy currency. If 2 monosaccharides, such as glucose, are combined, you get a disaccharide. For example, put these 2 glucose sugars together and you get the disaccharide maltose. By the way, a lot of sugars have that OSE ending. Glucose, maltose, lactose, sucrose, fructose, I could go on. The ending OSE can be a carbohydrate clue. If you join a lot of monosaccharides together, that can combine to make a polysaccharide, a big carbohydrate. So, how are carbohydrates important to an organism and the structure and function of its cells? Well, plants have cell walls of carbohydrates, specifically a large one known as cellulose. Fungi have cell walls of carbohydrates too, specifically one known as chitin. Fun fact that carbohydrate chitin is also what makes up the exoskeleton of insects. We mentioned glucose is used to make ATP. That makes carbohydrates a fast source of energy for cells. So that's a big function for carbs, a major energy source that cells can access. That energy can be stored in a polysaccharide form. Remember, polysaccharide is a big carbohydrate, such as starch for plants or glycogen for animals. Next up, lipids. Lipids include fats and oils. Examples of food sources could include butter or olive oil. This is a seriously diverse group, meaning there are a lot of types of lipids. There are triglycerides, there are phospholipids, There are steroids. These are just some examples. Most, but not all, lipids have building blocks of glycerol and fatty acids. One thing, though, that lipids generally share, generally they're hydrophobic, or at least contain a significant hydrophobic component. That means lipids, or at least a major component of them, don't like water. Lipids generally won't dissolve in water. And that's interesting, as generally the other biomolecules will. So, how are lipids important to an organism in the structure and function of its cells? Remember how we said all cells, plant cells, animal cells, all cells, have membranes? Well, thank you, phospholipids, for that phospholipid bilayer, because that's right, lipids make up cell membrane structure. Lipids have a major function of being a source of long-term energy storage. You remember how we said carbohydrates were a fast source of energy, but when those carbs are used up, lipids have a function as long-term energy storage that an organism can use. Lipids are also very important for different types of insulation. The insulation may involve helping a cell carry an electrical impulse. For example, this myelin sheath made of lipids that can be found on many neurons. Or the insulation may involve temperature regulation, so thermal insulation. For example, the blubber on this adult harp seal is made of lipids, helping it conserve heat. Another cool function about lipids, many lipids act as hormones, which are chemical messengers for many different processes. Next up, proteins. Protein food sources include beans, meat, nuts, and eggs. The monomer of a protein is an amino acid. Usually, proteins consist of many amino acids bonded together. There are different types of amino acids. So, how are proteins important to an organism in the structure and function of its cells? Structure-wise, tissue like muscle tissue consists heavily of proteins. Proteins can make up all kinds of other structures, hair or collagen, for example. Proteins can also be found embedded in cell membranes as protein channels. And channels are important to that cell membrane structure with functions of letting certain substances pass through. Proteins can also be receptors, which are critical in cell signaling, so cells can coordinate actions together. Most enzymes are made of proteins. Remember, enzymes can build up or break down substances in all kinds of metabolic processes. Antibodies, which are made by immune cells in your body, are proteins, and they are involved in protecting your body. And some critical hormones, such as insulin, are proteins. And when we start talking about genes, genes are made of DNA, but many genes do code for proteins. And that brings us to our last one that includes DNA, nucleic acids. Nucleic acids include DNA and RNA, which we'll get to in more depth when we get to genetics. Nucleic acids have a monomer called a nucleotide. That's going to be an easy one for you to remember because nucleotide sounds like nucleic acid. By the way, you might wonder, are nucleic acids like DNA and RNA found in my food? And the answer would be yes. Whenever you eat something that came from something living, it actually could still have DNA inside it. For example, when you eat a strawberry, you're actually crunching all the cells that made up that strawberry, and in the nucleus of all those strawberry cells is DNA. Any type of life, like plants or animals or fungi or bacteria, they must contain nucleic acids like DNA to direct the cell's activities. How are nucleic acids important for your cells? Well, most of your cells contain all of your genetic information in the form of nucleic acids, DNA and RNA, and this is needed for the coding of your traits. Traits involved in structure and various functions. Okay, so we just did a very general tour of 4 biomolecules. Before we go, I just have to marvel at biomolecule structure because it's absolutely beautiful. So if I arrange them in the order we did, carbs, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids, how might we remember the major and most common elements in them? There's a popular mnemonic known as CHO, CHO, CHON, CHOMP, although it's CHOMP with an N, to help me remember the C for carbon, H for hydrogen, O for oxygen, N for nitrogen, and P for phosphorus. Does that mean you won't find other elements in the biomolecules? Of course not. But it's important to understand the arrangement of these elements in biomolecules because the structure of the arrangement greatly impacts their function. You can learn more in our further reading suggestions in the description. Well, that's it for the Amoeba Sisters, and we remind you to stay curious.
Ayan, so that is the general introduction of the topics that we'll be discussing here in biochemistry. Ano, all about carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acid. So those are the building blocks of, for example, for carbohydrates, ang building blocks niya ay mga saccharides, or sugars. For fat, yung lipids natin. For proteins, yung mga amino acids. And then for DNA, or RNA, yung ating nucleotides. Po. And for this morning, we'll be discussing first about carbohydrates, or the main source of our energy in our body. Ayan. So, carbohydrates is a great example of polymers. And polymers are made up of a lot of monomers, obviously. So monomers, or every single block of monomers, is its building block. Po? A large substance is made up of a substance which is called monomers. And again, ang monomers ng carbohydrates natin ay yung ating mga saccharides or sugar. Ayun. So if you remember yung tawag doon, ano tawag doon? Nalimutan ko. Yung para maalala ninyo kung ano yung chemical formula ng carbohydrates. 'Di ba? Ang carbohydrates ay CHO. Kita niyo yun yung sa last part. Ang lipids ay CHO din. Ang amino acids ay may nitrogen, CHON. Nucleic acid, nucleotide ay meron tayong CHONP, may phosphorus siyang kasama. So for carbohydrates, ayan, CHO tas N, depende kung ilan. Kasi nga siya ay example ng polymer, so it depends kung gaano kahaba yung kanyang parent strand niya. So the stoichiometric formula is CH2O, again kung ilan, and N is the number of carbons in the molecule. Formula also explains the origin of the term carbohydrates. The component are carbo or carbon, and the component of water, hence hydrate. So very self-explanatory naman. And it is the most abundant biomolecules in nature. They are now defined as polyhydroxyaldehydes and ketones. Sir, ano po yung aldehydes and ketones? Yun yung mga nakadikit dun sa parent chain, yun pala, hindi parent strand, parent chain ng carbohydrates po natin. So pag sinabi nating aldehydes, makikita natin mamaya, ang technical term or scientific term na ginagamit natin sa mga grupo na yan is functional group. Functional group ang aldehyde at ketones. So ang aldehyde ay, if I'm not mistaken, baka magkamali ako. Tingnan na lang natin sa sunod na slide. Basta ang ketones, may double strand siyang O. Ano nga sa aldehyde? CH. Basta meron yan. Nalimutan ko. Ayun. So, speaking of monomers, meron po tayong 3 classes of carbohydrates. Meron tayong monosaccharide, which is one, obviously mono. And then meron tayong mga oligosaccharides or disaccharides, at meron tayong polysaccharides. Ayan. So, monomer of carbohydrates means it makes or it make up of carbohydrates. Monosaccharides are the common base unit of all carbohydrate molecules. The word saccharide is derived from the Greek word charon, meaning sugar. They are white crystalline solid that contains a single aldehyde or ketone functional group. Yun nga po, functional group. They are subdivided into 2 classes, aldoses and ketoses, on the basis of whether they are aldehydes or ketones. Titingnan lang natin, class, yung chemical formula ng carbohydrates, kung ano yung naka-attach sa parent chain niya. Kung siya ba ay isang aldehyde or kung siya ba ay isang ketone. Moving on, and also called simple sugars. And most monosaccharides names end with the suffix "-ose", which is nabanggit naman kanina doon sa introduction or introductory video natin. Ayan. O ito. Ang aldehyde, tama, may CH nga sa CH double strand O. Kita nyo to? Ito yung functional group na naka-attach dun sa parent chain. Gets nyo yun, class? Tapos tingnan nyo dito sa ketone. Ang naka-attach dun sa parent chain ay double-stranded na O. Kita nyo? Na nagets po ba yun? Nandyan ba kayo? Ayan. So, most monosaccharide names end with the suffix "-os". Dahil siya ay considered na siya na nasa parent chain ng carbohydrates, hindi na siya considered as aldehyde or ketone. Ang aldehyde at ketone class ay itong functional group lamang. Gets nyo? Pag na-attach na siya, saka siya madadagdagan ng suffix na "-os". So if the sugar has an aldehyde group, the functional group with the structure RCHO, baka matanong yun, sir, ano yung R? Yung R, yung parent chain. It represents the whole parent chain. Kasi for example, imagine niyo, di ba ang polysaccharide sobrang haba niya. Pag sinulat natin lahat ng carbon na yun, super haba. So para mas mapaikli natin yung chemical formula ng tawag dito, ng group na to, we use R. And then, ina-attach natin yung functional group. Gets? Ayan. And it is known as aldose. If it has a ketone group, the functional group of the structure is RC, kasi kailangan nakadikit lagi siya sa carbon. Tapos double-stranded O. It is known as a ketose. Gets po yun, class. Nagets yun. Hindi ko lang tanda kung kailan nyo to. Na-discuss ba to sa inyo nung senior high? Kasi di ba tagal nyo na din naman walang bio ngayong college kasi wala naman talaga kayong bio. So kung nabanggit to sa mga bio classes ninyo nung senior high, good. Kung hindi, di at least alam nyo na. So moving on. Ayan. So ano ba yung characteristic ng ating monosaccharides or ng carbohydrates in general? They are soluble in water. They are also classified as a triose, tetrose, pentose, hexose, or heptose on the basis of whether they contain 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 carbon atoms. It really depends, class, on how many carbon meron sa parent chain ng carbohydrates. So lalagyan nyo lang siya nung indicators kung gaano kadami yung carbon natin. Kung naalala nyo, class, di ba meron tayong mga naming ng chemical compounds? Di ba nag-ganon kayo? Nung senior high, kahit nung chemistry, nag-ganon ba kayo? Hindi kasi more on organic chemistry kasi ito. Pero kung medyo may konti kayong background on naming, meron yan kasi nag-STEM kayo. Ayan. So, parang binabalikan lang uli natin. Ayan. So, let's first look at the triose. So, it is a monosaccharide or simple sugar containing 3 carbon atoms, obviously. Ayan. So, yan. Yun ang itsura niya. Glyceraldehyde, dihydroxyacetone, glyceraldehyde. Pero, syempre, hindi na din naman tayo magpapakadalubhasa. Pero syempre may mga ruling kung tandaan niyo kung paano magpangalan ng mga molecules natin. Pero again, hindi na tayo magpapakadalubhasa. Tinitingnan na lang natin. So moving on. Ayan. Tetrose, a monosaccharide with 4 carbon atom. They have either an aldehyde functional group in position 1 or yung unang carbon or a ketone functional group in position 2 or dun sa pangalawang carbon. Okay ba kayo dyan? Okay pa kayo dyan, class? Ayun. So sabi nga kanina, yung aldose natin or yung aldehyde natin, nakadikit siya sa unang carbon ng parent chain ng carbohydrates natin. So kita nyo naman dito saan nakadikit yung functional group dito sa unang carbon. Dito pala. Sorry. Nasa unahan. Tapos, ito naman, ang ketone, nakadikit siya sa pangalawang carbon. So, ito. 1, 2. Nakadikit dito yung double-stranded na O. Ayun. So, meron tayong erythrose. Tingnan may L, may D pa, may L. Ano nga yun? Dextro and levo. Pero to be honest, hindi ko pa na-encounter yung dextro and levo kasi hindi ko alam kung nalimutan ko na or feel ko nalimutan ko lang. Pero yon. So moving on, dito naman tayo sa pentose, monosaccharide molecules with 5 carbon atoms. Pentoses can also be further divided into 2 groups as aldopentoses and ketopentoses. Ayan. So again, it really depends on what functional group is attached to the parent chain or to the parent chain. So meron tayong ribose, xylose, arabinose, lysose are aldopentoses, and ribulose and cellulose are ketopentoses. Ayan. So pag aldopentoses, ang nakadikit sa kanya yung CH double strand O, ito, yung nasa taas natin, and still attached on the first carbon. And for the ketopentoses, yung double-stranded O natin, still it is attached on the second carbon. Sir, ba't wala po kami nakikitang carbon dyan? Understood na every intersection na ganito, class, may carbon na nakadikit dyan. Ano po? Gets po ba yun, class? Gets naman yun. Ano? Sana naalala niyo pa yung chem nyo nung senior. Anyway, moving on. Ayan. So let's proceed naman sa mga hexose or 6 naman po yung carbons niya. So ganun pa din, ang example na ito ay ang mga nakadikit sa kanya ay mga ketones. Kasi kita natin dito yung double-stranded na oxygen na naka-attach sa second carbon. Tapos ito naman na nasa taas, hindi, actually lahat to ay mga, ang nakadikit na functional group sa kanya is ito, yung CH double strand O. Yung mga aldehydes. Ayan. So let's proceed naman, class, sa mga iba't ibang example. So glucose, fructose, and galactose. And all of this, class, if we're going to count the numbers of carbon natin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lahat ng ito ay 6 carbon. 6 carbon. So glucose, one of the most important monosaccharide, one of the main sources of calories, and can cross blood-brain barrier which nourishes the brain. Ayan. So if we're going to look at glucose, isa siyang type ng carbohydrate, na ang kanyang functional group ay aldehyde. Kita natin dito sa nakadikit na functional group sa kanya. For galactose, known as milk sugar, ganun din. Ang naka-attach naman sa kanya ay aldehyde din. And then for fructose, ang nakadikit naman na functional group sa kanya ay ketones. Kasi you can see at the second carbon, may naka-attach na double-stranded na oxygen. Ayan. Fructose, fruit sugar, commonly found in honey, fruits, and vegetable. Ayan. Clear naman po ito, class? Okay po. Pati tatandaan nyo, di ba, sabi doon, ang building blocks ng carbohydrates natin is crystalline. Kaya sila nakaganto. So ito, class, ay nakaganon sila. Ayan, nakaganto sa tulad ng picture. Tapos pag madaming-madami, hindi polymer na siya. Ayan. So let's proceed naman sa isomers and epimers. Ayan. So compounds that have same chemical formula but different structure. Katulad dito, class. Sir, magkapareha sila ng Magkapareha sila ng number ng carbon sa kanilang parent chain. Parehas din ng kanilang functional group na naka-attach. Pero magkaiba sila, sir. Ito ay glucose, ito ay galactose. And those type of compounds, yan, they are considered as isomers. So nakalagay dyan yung mga examples natin dito: fructose, glucose, mannose, and galactose. For epimers, defined as a carbohydrate isomers that different in configuration around only one specific carbon atom. So nagkakatalo lang sila sa isang carbon dun sa parent chain nila. For example, glucose and galactose, C4 epimer. For glucose and mannose, dun naman sa C2 naman sila, epimer. Ayun. So dun sa pang-apat na carbon at pangalawang carbon, dun lang sila nagkakaiba. But the rest, parehas na. Clear po to, class? Clear po ito? Okay po. Ayan. So glucose and maltose are the epimers with respect to C2. Ayan. So ito class ko. Yan. And then glucose and galactose are the epimers with respect to C4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ayan. So let's proceed naman class sa disaccharides. So disaccharides consist of exactly two monosaccharides joined together. Sugar are composed of two monosaccharides from when two monosaccharides undergo a dehydration reaction. So ibig sabihin, tinatanggalan natin siya ng hydrogen. So they are soluble in water. A glycosidic bond can form between any hydroxyl group on the monosaccharide. A glycosidic bond or glycosidic linkage is a type of covalent bond that join a carbohydrate sugar molecule to another group. Ayan. So kung makikita nyo class, di ba sabi kanina, nag-undergo siya ng dehydration process. So dito, mawawala yung kanyang hydrogen. Ang didikit sa kanya or yung magkakaroon ng bonds ay ito. Ayan, glycosidic bond. So sucrose is formed when a monomer of glucose and monomer of fructose are joined in a dehydration reaction to form a glycosidic bond. In the process, a water molecule is lost by convention. The carbon atoms in a monosaccharide are numbered from the terminal carbon closest to the carbonyl group. Ayan. Ano sir yung carbonyl group? Ito po. Yan. In sucrose, a glycosidic linkage is formed between carbon 1, this one, in glucose, and carbon 2 in fructose, which is ito. So ito yung carbon 1 ng glucose, ito yung carbon 2, 1, 2, carbon 2 ng fructose. Tapos yun yung magdidikit. Gets yun, class? Gets po? So yung glucose at fructose, ang kanyang kumbaga equals to sucrose. Ayan, so sucrose na ang tawag sa dalawang monosaccharide na to. So what are the common disaccharides? So nabanggit kanina yung sucrose, glucose plus fructose. So it is also known as table sugar, found in fruits and vegetables, and sugarcane and sugar beet having the highest qualities. Actually, first, parang isang beses pa lang ako nakakangata ng sugarcane. Bata pa ako nun. After nun, hindi na uli ako nakangata. Pero na-try nyo na bang mumata ng sugarcane? Super tamis niya, no? Nagulat din ako nung na-try ko siya. Ayan. Another common disaccharide class is meron tayong lactose. So siya naman ay pinagsamang galactose and glucose. So formed together by beta-1,4 glycosidic bond and found in milk of mammals, cow and breast milk of human. Synthetic or man-made sugar that is not absorbed by the body but is broken down in the colon into products that absorb water into the colon, thus softening stools. Ano kaya yung mga taong mga lactose intolerant, pag nag-intake sila ng mga dairy products, ay medyo nasisira yung tiyan nila. So, big sabihin nun, hindi na tutunaw or hindi na pa-process ng katawan ng ayos yung sugar na to, or yung carbohydrate na ito. So, it is primarily used to treat constipation, and it is also used to reduce blood ammonia levels in persons with liver disease since lactulose absorbs ammonia into the colon. Another common disaccharide, we have maltose. So, ito naman ay pinagsama ang dalawang glucose, or also known as malt sugar, formed together by alpha-1,4 glycosidic bond, found in molasses that can be used for the fermentation of beer. Yung molasses din class, if you are aware, yun din yung nagpapa-brown ng brown sugar. Basically, it's just white sugar with molasses. Kaya meron tayong brown sugar? Share ko lang. Another, found also in some cereals and candies, siya, mas matamis siyang version. Para siyang macaramel na burnt, parang ganun yung flavor niya. Naging MasterChef bigla. It is a product of starch digestion and may be purified from barley and other grains. And again, ginagamit din siya for fermentation of beers. Ayan. So simple sugar, whether they are natural and added sugars, are mixtures of monosaccharides and disaccharides. So for example, honey, it is 50% fructose, 44% glucose, 4% galactose, and 2% maltose. Ano, and all of this saccharides or sugars natin compose of what honey is. Ayan. Meron din tayong trehalose. It is glucose and glucose. Trehalose is also known as tremulose or micose. It is a natural alpha-linked disaccharide with extremely high water retention properties. In nature, it helps plants and animals reduce long periods without water. O, diba? Ayan. We also have cellobiose. It is glucose and glucose. Cellobiose is a hydrolysis product of cellulose or cellulose-rich material such as paper or cotton, formed by linking two beta glucose molecules by a beta-1,4 bond. Ayan. Ito naman class, amylase, lactase, sucrase, maltase. Ito yung ina-absorb ng katawan natin after breaking, for example, itong bread, after breaking it down. Ano? Ayan. So, polysaccharides naman tayo. So, we've talked about the monomers, ano, yung building blocks, yung tigigisa. And then, ano naman, pag pinagsama natin yung dalawa, yung mga monomers na yun, or monosaccharides to form disaccharides. And this part naman class, titingnan naman natin yung polysaccharide or pag yung madamihan na. Ano? So they are sugar polymers containing more than 20 or so monosaccharide units, and some have hundreds or thousands of units. Most abundant carbohydrate in food. Long chain of monosaccharides linked by glycosidic bonds, and homopolysaccharides are and we also have heteropolysaccharides. Ayan. So let's look at some of the examples. So we have starch or starches natin. So they are stored form of sugars in plant made up of a mixture of amylose and amylopectin. Important source of calorie found in foods such as rice, potato, wheat, and feel ko mais yan. Sugar molecules that human intestinal enzyme can break down, and it is not sweet. Don't activate the taste bud unlike simple sugar. Ayan. So familiar naman tayo lahat sa starch. Ano? So pag sa kanin na kinakain natin, so yan yung nakukuha nating main source ng carbohydrates. Ayan. Amylose, starch formed by unbranched chain of glucose monomers only sa alpha-1,4 linkages. It is poorly soluble in water and slowly digestible. So meron tayong example ng starches, other form ng starches natin, which is ito ang amylose. Ayan. We also have here amylopectin, branched polysaccharide at alpha-1,4 linkages and alpha-1,6 linkages at the branch points. It is more soluble in water and more easily digestible than amylose. Ayan. Another, we also have here dietary fibers. They are carbohydrates that intestinal enzymes cannot break down or non-digestible. They have molecules that are resisting to human enzymes. Ayan. Critical slow down the absorption of simple sugar, helps blood glucose level. Ano bang magandang example? Yung mga chia seeds, ayan, mataas sa fibers yung mga yan. Ano, kung nagpapaliit kayo ng tiyan, ganyan. Another example, we have glycogen. Ayan, is the storage form of glucose in humans and other vertebrates and is made up of monomers of glucose. Glycogen is the animal equivalent of starch and is highly branched molecules usually stored in liver and muscle cells. Whenever blood glucose level decreases, glycogen is broken down to release glucose in a process known as glycogenolysis. Another example, we have cellulose, is the most abundant natural biopolymer. The cell wall of plant is mostly made of cellulose, and this provides structural support to the cell. Wood and paper are mostly cellulosic in nature, and cellulose is made up of glucose monomers that are linked by beta 1 to 4 glycosidic bonds. Ayan. So ano po ba ang function ng carbohydrates sa ating katawan, which we already know. Ano po? So carbohydrates provides your body with energy. Your cell converts carbohydrates into the fuel molecule ATP through a process called cellular respiration. They also provide stored energy, and carbohydrates or yung fibers promotes good digestive health by reducing constipation and lowering the risk of digestive tract diseases. Ayan, another function ng carbohydrates po natin. Insects have a hard outer exoskeleton made up of chitin, which is nabanggit din kanina dun sa parang introduction natin, a type of polysaccharide. So it is not only found on insects, pero nakikita din natin siya, for example, sa mga crabs, sa mga shrimps. Those are still examples of chitin. Ayun, share ko lang. Ayun na pala. May natutunan po kayo sa ating discussion. Okay po. Ayun. If tawag dito, yung iba kasi, as someone din nga po na nag-workout, yung iba kasi, nag-workout sila ng hindi kumakain. Kasi sabi nila, dapat para diet, parang ganyan, para mas effective. Pero sa tunay, kailangan nyo ding kumain before ng isang exercise. Kasi walang gagamitin yung katawan ninyong energy to do those workouts. Kaya kakain din muna kayo. Especially ng carbohydrates or ng carbs bago kayo mag-exercise para mas malakas kayo. Share ko lang. Nalala ko lang. Anyway, carry nyo pa ba ng isa pa? Or hindi nyo na kaya? Kaya nyo pa ba, class? Kaya pa? Okay. Sige. Pero na to, like, ito na lang. Hindi na ako magtatatlong topic kasi OA na masyado. Tama na yung dalawa lang. Okay pa kaya kung nakain kayo, go lang. Walang problema. So, for the second, biomolecules sa pag-uusapan natin. So, kung kanina pinag-usapan natin ang carbohydrates, which is the main source of energy, na ginagamit natin. Kaya kumain kayo dyan. Yung sunod naman na pag-uusapan natin, class, is fats, or lipids natin. Ayan. So yung lipids, yun yung building blocks ng ating mga fats. So kung ang building blocks ng carbohydrates ay mga monosaccharides or saccharides in general, ang fats naman natin, ang kanyang building blocks ay mga lipids po natin. So let's look at lipids. May isa pang maling conception sa fats. Diba? Ang fat din kasi, class, importante din kasi na meron tayong fat din. Kasi isa din yung source ng energy or nagsusstore din yan ng energy. Na isa din siyang mabilis na mabilis siyang stored energy na pwedeng gamitin agad ng katawan natin. Kaya parang sabihin ng iba, kailangan matanggal yung fat sa katawan, ganyan kung nagpapapayat ka, pero hindi. Kailangan nyo sadyang may fat sa katawan. Pero syempre, yung healthy amount or yung tamang amount sa katawan ninyo. So share ko lang din. Ako ngayon ay, hindi kasi din ako mahilig sa seafood. Hindi kasi ako mahilig sa malansa. Hindi ako mahilig sa seafood, pero nakain naman ako. Pero pag may ibang choices, kunyari may karne dyan, tas may hipon, magkakarne ako. Ganon. Pero hindi dahil like, wala lang, preference ko lang. Nahihirapan din kasi akong magbalat. Tapos diba sabi ang hipon daw ay ipis ng dagat. Kaya parang yun na lang naalala ko. Tapos kunyari nasa sabaw siya. Tapos ang daming galamay, parang naalala ko ipis, so parang hindi ko kaya. Pero nakain naman ako. Pero anyway, kaya ako nabanggit yun. Kasi alam ko nga sarili ko na hindi ako masyadong nakain ng seafood. Nag-i-intake ako ngayon ng mga fish oil para to compensate nang hindi ko pagkain ng masyadong madaming seafood. Ano. So, kahit sabihin siyang sir, oil yan, pero healthy oil kasi siya kasi nung omega-3, omega-6, and omega-9. So, okay siya. So, share ko lang. Na-share ko lang. Ayun. So, going back, alam niyo ang mahal ang mahal maging healthy, mas mura maging hindi healthy. Kasi pwede mong kainin kahit ano, ganyan. Pero if you really want to, tawag dito, to invest on yourself, in eating healthy, yung mga supplements na tinitake, medyo mahal talaga siya. Yun yung, wala kasi akong luho. So parang dun ko na lang siya, yun na lang yung luho para sa sarili ko. Para nung nagka-work ako, dun ko ginamit yung kinikita ko. At din, sa mga travel, gano'n, sa mga gala-gala. Pero kung luho, wala akong luho na kunyari, sapatos or what, hindi ako share ko lang. Anyway, let's proceed sa lipids. Sabanggit ko lang dahil nung mga ini-intake ko na supplements. Ayan, so lipids are essential components of all living organisms. Biological lipids are water-insoluble organic compounds. So nabanggit nga kanina, hindi siya, or yun nga, hydrophobic siya. Hindi nagmi-mix yung dalawa. They are nabanggit na pala, nakalagay na pala dito. They are hydrophobic or non-polar or water-fearing or amphipathic or containing both non-polar and polar regions. Kaya kung makikita nyo class, kung naalala nyo dun sa video, para siyang may bilog, tapos nandito yung parang niya, na mag-side by side siya. So cells store energy for long-term use, sabi ko nga po sa inyo kanina, in the form of fats. Lipids also provide insulation for the environment for plants and animals and building blocks of many hormones and are an important constituent of all cellular membranes. Ayun. Pero long-term use, yun nga lang yung pangit sa fat. Kaya nai-store siya. Kaya sabi ko kanina sa inyo, may healthy or may tamang amount ng fat tayo dapat sa katawan. Tapos dito class, sa hormones. Familiar ba kayo sa doon sa mga nagpa-derma or nagpapaderma? Narinig nyo na ba yung isotretinoin? May nakarinig na ba sa inyo? I-type. Isotretinoin. Wait, baka magkamali ako ng spelling. T pala, isotretinoin. Ayan. So for example, meron kayong severe acne. Share ko lang din. May kinalaman din naman sa discussion natin. Kung meron kayong severe acne na simula high school pa tapos hanggang ngayon, feeling nyo hindi siya nawawala. Nagpa-derma kasi ako recently. Ganon kasi ako. Like, hindi nawawala yung tagyawat ko. Tapos, parang nung summer, ang dami ko ding tagyawat sa katawan. Kasi yung tatay ko, matagyawat talaga siya. Tapos, nung nagpa-derma ako, sabi ko kasi, shit, sayang yung pag-workout ko. Tapos, hindi naman ako confident na maghubad, ganyan, kasi parang ang dami kong tagyawat sa katawan. Tapos, nung nagpa-derma ako, ito yung nireseta sa akin. Pero class, hindi to over the counter na gamot. Kailangan siya ng reseta. Yung isotretinoin. Meron bang may familiar sa inyo dyan? Sa mga nagpa-derma or what, or nagre-research. Ang isotretinoin class ay gamot siya na tinitreat. Hindi naman talaga tinitreat niya yung acne. Ang ginagawa niya, tinatanggal niya yung excess oil sa katawan. Pinipigilan niya mag-produce ang katawan ng oil. Speaking of lipids and fats and oils. So, nung tinake ko siya nung first week, sobra kong tuyo. As in, sobra kong dry. Like yung mukha, para akong mamamatay sa sobrang dry ko. Like yung mukha ko sobrang dry, yung lips ko sobrang dry. Tapos yung dito sa may siko, hindi masiko, yung basta yung dito sa may kamay, pati yung sa likod ng tuhod, namumula siya kasi sobrang dry niya. Tapos, ang yun nga, yung ginagawa ng gamot na yun, tinatanggal niya yung excess or pinipigilan niya na mag-produce ka ng madaming oil. Kasi di ba kaya tayo nagkakatagyawan? Kasi clogged pores, tapos yung too much oil production. Tapos, pero anong nangyari nun sa akin? Like nawala yung mga blackheads ko, nawala yung whiteheads ko. Pero namamatay ako sa loob kasi sobrang dry. To the point, class, na kahit yung mga muscle joints ko, 'di ba kaya din tayo nakapag-perform ng ng locomotion. Kasi may naglo-lubricate din sa mga joints natin, which is oils din 'yon. Tapos nung tinitake ko 'yon, hindi din ako makapag-workout ng ayos kasi parang feel ko ang ganit nung mga joints ko. Tapos, yun nga, nabanggit din dito, class, na ang lipids natin, I mean fats in general, it is also building blocks of many hormones. So, nangyari din nun sa akin, nung tinitake ko yung gamot na yun, bumaba yung bumaba yung libido ko. Parang wala akong kahit anong, parang bumaba yung testosterone ko. Wala akong kahit anong drive, wala akong kahit anong sex drive, ganyan. Kasi nga, pinigilan niya din yung production ng hormones. Normally. Parang yun yung nangyari sa akin nung tinake ko yung gamot na yun. Speaking of oils and fats, So, ganun yung experience ko dun sa gamot na yun for 1 week. Tapos nung nagpa-check up uli ako, sabi nung doktora, yung iba daw, 1 month, parang 1 month bago nila naranasan yung effects na yun. Ako, 1 week lang, naranasan ko na agad. Tapos, yun. Anong nangyari naman ngayon, binabaan na nila yung dosage. Medyo matagal ko kasi siyang iti-take, parang 4 months. Yung iba nga 1 year. Pero ako 4 months lang kasi parang mabilis yung effect sa akin ng gamot. Tapos paano ko na ngayon? Second month ko na. So yun, kung meron man kayong problema sa acne or may kakilala kayong may problema sa acne, maganda yung gamot na yun. Speaking of lipids and fats. Kasi yun yung ginagawa niya. Pinipigilan niya yung overproduction. Feeling ko hindi naman talaga, pinigilan niya talaga as in tinanggal niya talaga yung production ng oil sa katawan. Pero depende yun kung gaano kalaki yung dosage na tinitake niyo. Ayun, share ko lang para lang din may alam kayo about doon. So anyway, ayan, balik tayo sa mga lipids. Ayan, so varied forms or structures and functions. So it is found in fats and oils, waxes, triglycerides, phospholipids, steroids, and even pigments. Ayan, fat molecules consist of 2 main components, glycerol and fatty acids. Glycerol is an organic compound or alcohol with 3 carbon, 5 hydrogen, and 3 hydroxyl group. 3 carbon, 5 hydrogen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, gets ko na. So, kung i-imagine niyo class, wala pala akong panulat. Basta 3 carbon to. Imagine niyo 3 carbon, 1, 2, 3. Tapos dun sa huling carbon, may 3 hydrogen na naka-attach. Doon sa pangalawang carbon, may 2. So, ilan yun? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hydrogen. Doon sa dulong carbon, may OH na naka-attach. So, ganoon yung itsura ng glycerol. Na-imagine nyo? Sana na-imagine nyo. Fatty acids have a long chain of hydrocarbons to which a carboxyl group is attached, hence the name fatty acid. Ayun. So in a fat molecule, the fatty acids are attached to each of the 3 carbon of the glycerol molecule with an ester bond through an oxygen atom. Ayan, may picture naman pala. Ayun. So fatty acids are carboxylic acids with hydrocarbon chains, ito yun, ranging from 4 to 36 carbon. Ayan. So hydrocarbon tail, hydrophobic, so ito yun. Acts as energy storage of organisms. Ayan. So meron tayong saturated at unsaturated fats, which is narinig nyo na naman siguro. Ayan. Pag saturated, no double bonds. Ayan. And max number of bonded hydrogen atom. Ayan. Stearic acid, common in meat, butter, fat with butyric acid. So pag saturated, walang double bonds sa kanyang parent chain. Pag unsaturated, one or more double bonds with cis configuration in the C skeleton, unsaturated with hydrogen atom. Mono unsaturated fat and poly unsaturated fat. The higher the degree of unsaturation, the lower the melting point. Ayan. Example ay itong ating oleic acid. Nasaan yung double bond, sir? Ito. Ano, kita nyo may double bond dito. Except doon, class, baka sabihin nyo kasi dito, sir, bakit dito may double bond na O? Ayan yung kanyang functional group na naka-attach. Naalala nyo, class? Ha? Ito. Hydrocarbon tail. Gets nyo? Doon, pinag-uusapan natin, class, yung double bond niya doon sa parent chain. So pag saturated, wala naman tayo nakikitang double bond sa kanyang parent chain. Pero sa unsaturated, meron tayong double bond dito sa carbon. Gets po ba yun, class? Ha? Gets yun? Na-absorb pa yung pinag-uusapan natin? Okay po. Ayan. So, unsaturated structure, cis double bond causes a bend or a kink that prevents the fatty acids from packing tightly, keeping them liquid at room temperature. So, an example niyan, class, yung mga mantika natin sa bahay, cis or trans configuration. Ayan. Yung sinasabi lang dito pag cis ay, kung makikita nyo, class, ano ba tawag doon? Naka-mirror, or parehas yung placement ng hydrogen natin. Pag naman trans, magkabaliktaran. Kung maalala nyo kung paano mag-name ng mga compounds sa chemistry, yan yung example natin. So again, pag cis, parehas yung placement ng hydrogen. Pag trans, magkaiba yung placement ng hydrogen natin. For trans unsaturated fatty acids can be produced by fermentation in the rumen of dairy animals from dairy products and meat, hydrogenation of fish or vegetable oils, and oils are artificially hydrogenated to make them semi-solid and of a consistency desirable. Diets high in trans fatty acids correlate with increased blood levels of LDL or bad cholesterol and decreased HDL or good cholesterol. Ayan. So another, we have triglycerides, simplest lipid constructed from fatty acids. Our nonpolar hydrophobic molecules provide stored energy and insulation. What are the functions of triglycerides? They are compact energy storage. 1 gram of triglycerides produce 2 times energy than that of a 1 gram of polysaccharide. So again, lipids or fats also stores energy. Ayan. So triglycerol is formed by joining of 3 fatty acids to a glycerol backbone, this one, in a dehydration reaction. 3 molecules of water are released, this one, in the process. So meron tayong 3 dito na naka-attach sa glycerol backbone. Ayun. So phospholipids naman tayo. Major constituents of the plasma membrane, the outermost layer of animal cells. Ayun yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina, klase, parang may bilog, tapos parang may ganun-ganun. Ito yung isang ganun. Tapos magkabaliktaran silang ganyan. Like fats, they are composed of fatty acid chains attached to a glycerol or sphingosine backbone. Ayan, ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina lang. Ito yung itsura niya, class. Spontaneously assembled into aggregates that shield the hydrophobic portion. So ito, class, yung ayaw sa tubig. Itong nasa gitna na yun. And then yung nasa labas, yun yung head or hydrophilic head. So ito yung itsura niya, class. Ayan. So, bilayer structure formed by self-assembly of phospholipids in an aqueous environment. The phospholipid bilayer shown here is the main fabric of biological membrane. Note that the hydrolytic heads of the phospholipids are in contact with water in this structure, whereas the hydrophobic tails are in contact with each other and remote from waters. Ayan. So another example of lipids ay mga waxes po natin. So these are one of the main protections na nakalagay dito as examples natin sa mga plants and even dun sa mga feathers ng birds po natin. Meron din tayong wax sa katawan. Ano yung sa tenga natin, di ba? Covers the feathers of some aquatic birds and the leaf surfaces of some plants. Because of the hydrophobic nature of waxes, they prevent water from sticking on the surface. Waxes are made up of long fatty acid chains, esterified to long chain alcohols. Ayan, so lipids characterized by C skeleton consisting of 4 fused rings, 1 cyclopentane and 3 cyclohexane rings. Hydrophobic and insoluble in water. Ayan. So meron tayong cholesterol and cortisol. Ayan. So let's talk about naman dito yung cholesterol natin. Paano natin siya masasabi as good at paano natin siya masasabi as bad. So we have here healthy numbers. Doctors recommend that you aim for this level. Ayan. Speaking of din ng ganito, yung tinitake kong gamot ngayon dun sa derma, itong isotretinoin, kailangan ko ding magpa-blood chem every month. Kailangan ko din magpa-blood chem every month kasi sobrang tapang ng gamot. Alam niyo ba yung gamot na yon, pag tinake siya ng buntis, may possibility na na makunan or magkaroon ng defects yung bata sa sobrang tapang ng gamot. Ganon siya katapang. Kaya parang medyo hindi ko siya pwedeng sabayan ng kahit anong gamot. Kaya wala din akong tinitake ngayon na supplements sa workout kasi masusunog yung atay ko. So, pag natapos ko na siyang i-take, saka pa lang ako pwedeng uminom ng iba pang gamot. Pero ang iniinom ko lang ngayon, kasabay nun, yung vitamins ko lang, pati yung fish oil. Yun lang. Share ko lang. So, good cholesterol, transport cholesterol to your liver, prevents buildup in your arteries and remove cholesterol from your bloodstream. Bad cholesterol, deposit cholesterol in arteries. Ito, results in arterial plaque buildup and can lead to heart attack and stroke. Ayun. So, again, nabanggit na naman natin kanina, paano natin i-maintain at i-regulate yung ating mga sarili. So, medyo simple to, pero hindi natin madalas siyang nagagawa. So, medication, maintain a healthy diet, and get regular exercise. So, very obvious naman, kakain tayo ng gulay, ng prutas, ng good amount of protein, good amount of carbohydrates, and even fats. Kailangan meron din tayong fats sa diet natin. Mga example ng mga healthy fats sa avocados, sa isda, yan. And avoid these. Pero ito yung masasarap, di ba? Ito yung mga nasa canteen. Ano tawag doon? Yung potato corner, ayan nandyan, di ba? Mga fried foods, deli meats, ayan. So saan pa po natin makikita ang ating mga lipids? Okay pa kayo dyan? Okay pa kayo dyan, class? Ha? Okay po. Ano naman to? Last na naman po. So makikita din natin, class, ang mga lipids po natin sa mga pigments, signals, and cofactors. So pigments are lipids with a system of conjugated double bonds, can absorb visible light, and some of these act as light-capturing pigments in vision and photosynthesis. Lipids also have active roles as metabolites and messengers, hormones, ayan nga, for potent signals, enzyme cofactors in electron transfer reaction in chloroplast and mitochondria, or in the transfer of sugar, myotize in a variety of glycosylation reaction. Ayan. So we have eicosanoids or paracrine hormones, substances that act only on cells near the point of hormone synthesis instead of being transported in the blood to act on cells in other tissues or organs. Prostaglandins, originating from the chain of arachidonic acid. Their name derives from prostate gland, the tissue from which they were first isolated by Bengt Samuelsson and Sune Bergstrom. Thromboxanes have six-membered ring containing an ether. They are produced by platelets and act in the formation of blood clots and the reduction of blood flow to the site of a clot. We also have here leukotrienes, first found in leukocytes, contain three conjugated double bonds, and they are powerful biological signals. Ayan. Other lipids, vitamin A and D are hormone precursors. Vitamin E and K and the lipid, anong basa to? Kinones, are oxidation reduction cofactors. Ayan. And aromatic ring of vitamin K. Anyway, others na yan. So we have extraction, use of organic solvents, and some techniques not commonly used in the purification of water-soluble molecules, separation by differences in the polarity and solubility of the components in non-polar solvents, and hydrolyzation by treatment with acid or alkali or with highly specific hydrolytic enzymes. Dami naman ito. Wag na to. Wait lang. Isasama pa ba? Ma'am, wait lang. Ayun. Anyway, ang sabi, huwag na tayo magpakadalubhasa. So, skip na natin to. Tapos yun na yun. May natutunan po kayo sa lipids. Ayun. Parang gusto kong manood tayo ng isang video lang about lipids para mas ma-appreciate natin. Hanap lang ako, wait lang.
Olive oil is 100% fat. There's nothing else in it. Pancake mix, on the other hand, is only about 11% fat. And yet, olive oil is good for you, and pancake mix is not. Why is that? As it turns out, the amount of fat we eat doesn't impact our weight or our cholesterol or our risk of heart disease nearly as much as what kind of fat we eat. But let's back up. What is fat? If we were to zoom in on a salmon, which is a fatty fish, past the organs, past the tissues, into the cells, we would see that the stuff we call fat is actually made up of molecules called triglycerides, and they are not all alike. Here's one example. Those 3 carbons on the left, that's glycerol. Now you can think of that as the backbone that holds the rest of the molecule together. The 3 long chains on the right are called fatty acids, and it's subtle differences in the structures of these chains that determine whether a fat is, let's say, solid or liquid, whether or not it goes rancid quickly, and, most importantly, how good or how bad it is for you. Let's take a look at some of these differences. One is length. Fatty acids can be short or long. Another, more important difference is the type of bond between the carbon atoms. Some fatty acids have only single bonds. Others have both single and double bonds. Fatty acids with only single bonds are called saturated, and those with one or more double bonds are called unsaturated. Now, most unsaturated fats are good for you, while saturated fats are bad for you in excess. For saturated fats, the story pretty much ends there, but not for unsaturated fats. The double bonds in these molecules have kind of a weird property. They're rigid. So that means that there are 2 ways to arrange every double bond. The first is like this, where both hydrogens are on the same side and both carbons are on the same side. The second way is like this. Now the hydrogens and carbons are on opposite sides of the double bond. Now, even though both of these molecules are made up of exactly the same building blocks, they are 2 completely different substances and they behave completely differently inside of us. The configuration on the left is called cis, which you've probably never heard of. The one on the right is called trans, and you probably have heard of trans fats before. They don't go rancid, they're more stable during deep frying, and they can change the texture of foods in ways that other fats just can't. They're also terrible for your health, by far worse than saturated fat, even though technically they're a type of unsaturated fat. Now, I know that seems crazy, but your body doesn't care what a molecule looks like on paper. All that matters is the 3D shape, where the molecule fits, where it doesn't, and what pathways it interferes with. So how do you know if a food has trans fat in it? Well, the only sure way to know is if you see the words partially hydrogenated in the ingredients list. Don't let nutrition labels or advertising fool you. The FDA allows manufacturers to claim that their products contain, quote, 0 grams of trans fat, even if they actually have up to half a gram per serving. But there are no hard and fast rules about how small a serving can be, and that means you'll have to rely on seeing those key words, partially hydrogenated, because that's how trans fats are made, by partially hydrogenating unsaturated fats. So let's go back to our olive oil and pancake mix from before. Olive oil is 100% fat. Pancake mix is only 11% fat. But olive oil is mostly unsaturated fat, and it has no trans fat at all. On the other hand, more than half the fat in pancake mix is either saturated or trans fat. And so even though olive oil has 10 times as much fat as pancake mix, it's healthy for you, whereas pancake mix is not. Now, I'm not trying to pick on pancake mix. There are lots of foods with this type of fat profile. The point is this. It's not how much fat you eat, it's what kind of fat. And what makes a particular fat healthy or unhealthy is its shape.
Oh, I'll do that right now in QuickBooks. Just have to connect my bank.
In 1968, the American Heart Association made an announcement that would influence people's diets for decades. They recommended that people avoid eating more than 3 eggs a week. Their reasoning was that the cholesterol packed into egg yolks could increase cardiovascular disease risk. But it turns out that the reality is more complicated. Let's delve into digestion to understand why. As your body processes a meal, it emulsifies fats into lipid droplets that can then get absorbed in your small intestine. These lipid droplets make their way to various tissues, including your liver. There, specialized cells unpack and reassemble them into lipid protein packages called lipoproteins that are optimized to flow through your bloodstream. Lipoproteins are composed of different ratios of protein and fat, so their density varies. VLDL, or very low density lipoprotein, is mostly packed with fatty molecules, including triglycerides and cholesterol. VLDL delivers lipids to your muscle and fat cells to be stored and used for energy. Afterwards, it's converted into LDL, or low-density lipoprotein. LDL is informally known as bad cholesterol because it's associated with cardiovascular diseases. This is because LDL is more prone to accumulating on blood vessel walls, which can cause inflammation. The inflammation attracts specialized white blood cells called macrophages to remove the LDL buildup. But absorbing too many lipids can compromise macrophages, causing more inflammation and triggering more macrophage recruitment. As the cells clump together, they form a fibrous, scab-like cap, effectively narrowing the artery. This can interfere with blood flow and weaken vessel walls, making clots and ruptures more likely. High-density lipoprotein, or HDL, on the other hand, packs more protein. It picks up excess LDL in the blood and brings it back to the liver, where it can be excreted. Because HDL is anti-inflammatory and keeps LDL in check, it's commonly called good cholesterol. Doctors order lipid panels to understand the concentrations of different kinds of lipoproteins and their building blocks in your blood. All lipoproteins are essential to your body's functioning, but it can become a problem if the different kinds get out of balance. Some people are simply predisposed to having higher cholesterol. For example, certain gene variants cause LDL receptors to behave abnormally, leaving more LDL circulating. Otherwise, different lifestyle factors can influence blood lipid levels, and food is one of them. So, what's the deal with eggs? Their yolks are indeed high in cholesterol, which prompted the American Heart Association's 3-egg weekly limit in 1968. But while some of the cholesterol in your blood comes directly from cholesterol found in food, your body actually makes a vast majority of it from the different fats you consume. Saturated and trans fats found in animal, palm, and coconut products can drive your liver to create more VLDL and LDL packages. Unsaturated fats, meanwhile, are abundant in foods like fish, nuts, and seeds, and have anti-inflammatory properties that help counteract LDL buildup. A food's fat composition has a greater effect on blood lipid concentrations than its cholesterol levels. So, the high cholesterol found in egg yolks isn't actually of too much concern. Egg yolks contain some saturated fat, but not too much, and they also contain unsaturated fats. Generally, an egg a day is considered nutritious. But it's not just what fats you eat, but what you eat them with. Fibrous fruits, vegetables, and whole grains help lower LDL levels by affecting how fats are absorbed in the digestive tract. Overall, getting plenty of unsaturated fats and fiber seems to help keep LDL in check. And other activities can also impact lipid levels. It's not yet totally clear why, but resistance training and aerobic exercise can lower LDL and increase HDL. This might be because they use more blood lipids for energy and boost the activity of HDL-producing enzymes. Meanwhile, smoking increases LDL buildup, perhaps by unleashing unstable free radical molecules that damage lipids and vessel walls. But when lifestyle changes don't help to manage cholesterol levels, as can be the case when genetics are at play, we luckily have some pretty effective therapies. Statins are drugs that block a liver enzyme required to produce LDL. Other cholesterol medications increase the production of enzymes that break down triglycerides and promote LDL receptor activity, helping clear it from the bloodstream. When it comes to cholesterol health, It's important to keep the whole picture in mind, on and off the plate, so things don't get all, scrambled. Do you ever feel like you don't know enough about your own
Ayan. So that's for today po. So discussion natin about carbohydrates and lipids. May natutunan po kayo for today? Okay po. Sana nga po may natutunan, na may na-remind din sa sarili about taking care of oneself, ano mga dapat kainin, ano mga dapat gawin. And ayun po, we will just continue our discussion next week. Face-to-face pala tayo next week. Magdala ng pamaypay, ng towel, kasi mainit sa room natin sa taas. And ayun, thank you po for attending our class. May mga humabol po ba na pumasok ng meeting? Oh, wait lang. Si Engineer... Wait lang ha. Si Engineer Tibayan. Sino pa? Si Engineer Marera, Engineer Javier. Okay po. Okay na. May mga humabol pa po ba aside sa mga ito or okay na? Okay po. So, ayun. Thank you so much po for attending our class. We still have time kung gusto niyo makipag-usap sa kagrupo niyo regarding with our project for this summer. You can use that. Yes po, Engineer Tibayan.
Sir, wala pa po akong kagrupo dun sa grouping po na sinasabi niyo.
Ano
Dahil
po?
naka-enroll lang po namin kahapon eh.
Opo. Doon, kasama niyo po si Engineer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Engineer Niñesa, Marera, Ferrer, Goodia, at kayo po. Yung mga bago pong dating. Yun po yung magkakagroup. Bale, naggrupo ko na po kasi sila. Tapos, yung mga bagong dating, yun na lang po yung ginrupo ko. So, yun po yung kagrupo niyo ulit. Niñesa, Marera, Ferrer, Goodia, at Tibayan. Okay po?
Thank you po.
Okay po. Ano yun? Do you still have any concerns? May concern pa po ba kayo? Or okay na naman po? Ayun. Kung wala na po kayong tanong, thank you po ulit sa pag-attend ng ating klase and see you po next week. Bye-bye po. Yes po, Engineer.
Sir, ibang Tibayan daw po ata yun.
Iba ba? Charot. So, kakarating mo lang talaga.
Yes po.
Siya intay. Mag-intay ulit tayo ng mga bago pang dadating. May mga dadating pa ba? Madami. Yes po, Engineer Calabia.
Sir, pwede pa-upload po ng groupings. Thank you po.
Sige po, upload ko po. May mga dadating pa naman, madami pang dadating. Pag wala na, kung, sige magbigay tayo like hanggang next week. Kung wala pang napadagdag, sama na lang kita sa iba. Okay lang na mag-anim. Okay po. Engineer Tibayan.
Okay po, sir. Thank you po.
Okay po. Tapos upload ko na lang din sa group, sa Google Classroom or sa GC natin, yung groupings. Okay po. Do you have any more questions or concerns? Or okay na naman tayo? Kung may magkaroon man kayo ng tanong, pwede naman kayo mag-chat. So, ayun, I guess that would be all for this morning. Thank you po ulit sa pag-attend. Sana po may natutunan kayo. And, yun po. Bye-bye po.